let's welcome the filmmakers up here. All right, why don't you just quick introduce, we've got one mic, I guess, so we'll just go down the road, just who you are and what your film was, and then I'll ask you a couple questions. Oh, look, we have mics, yay! All right, I'll sit over here. Pass them down. So we've got Harvey Weinstein on our right. Sorry, buddy.
It'll be good.
Go ahead.
I'm Jill Greenberg, the director and writer of Honey Pot.
Israel Brooks, director of Four Keys.
Yeah. So thank you both, and Harvey, for coming here.
My name is Michael.
Michael. You know, I think what really struck me with both these films was just how prevalent these issues are in the last 2 years since Trump came around. I don't know why that stuck in my head, but it was like since Trump has been here, like everything has gone like off the radar. And obviously the refugee population, the Me Too movement, just, you know, everything is sort of bursting out. So I guess my first question to both of you is, you know, what was the impetus? What was the thing that sparked you? I mean, obviously for you, how did you hear it? Did you hear those the transcript? Did you read it somewhere? What was your first idea? Because it was a brilliant idea of taking that transcript and making a little film out of it. So tell us about how that happened.
Basically, I mean, I've been working on a short film along similar, basically almost the same subject matter for about 3 years, and it's turned into an animation project. When the transcript of the Harvey Weinstein situation came out, I basically was like, this is, you know, I can turn this into a script and I can add a character and I can make the whole scenario and sort of show people what it really looks like, because, you know, a lot of people don't understand, especially, you know, women kind of don't understand what it looks like or what it feels like, but maybe men don't as much know how it really plays out. And I thought that would be just, you know, something very interesting to, you know, and I'm not really a writer, but a lot of it was transcribed, but then, you know, I added other minimal things. But
the thing that blew me away was just how much he pressed them and convinced them and tried to convince them over and over again. What was that like, playing that? I mean, here you are playing this notorious guy. I mean, you know, you're an actor, but I mean...
Yeah, right. Well, you can't play the villain. You can't play the bad guy. You
have to believe it.
Well, yes, and I believe Harvey is a person who's comfortable in his own skin. I'm sure he's in a state of amazement at the way the world has turned on him.
Right.
Because of all that he has accomplished as a producer of some extraordinary art. So, as I say, you can't play the villain. Oh, I'm evil.
Right, no, yeah. And the other thing was the complicity of the other person, the woman,
yes,
which we've known about, but I thought that was just really beautifully filmed, just sort of seeing how painful it was for her. I don't know, did you do any research about that? Did you talk to anybody? Did you just pull that from your own experience? I mean, that was an interesting dynamic.
I did a little bit of research. You know, my husband was in the movie business, and he knew people who worked at Miramax, and we've known people. Subsequently, we found out some other people, you know, who were working with Harvey and things like that. But I wanted to be somewhat open-ended a little bit, because in somewhat sort of maybe show that she had also been victimized and she was sort of terrorized and she felt like she had nowhere else to go. You know, of course, you know, we had lots of debates about it, and, you know, in preparation, talking about, like, you know, why wouldn't she just go, you know, leave Miramax and go to a different studio, and, you know, but maybe, you know, just to sort of, you know, have that just be thought-provoking and have it, you know, not really, you know, I didn't want to like attack another woman, but just to sort of figure out what might be going on. and stuff like that.
Yeah. It was really beautiful, beautiful little film. Loved it.
Thank you.
So your film, my friend, also totally relevant. What was your impetus for making this film? What was your first thought? Where did you get the spark?
Actually, it hadn't really occurred to me, this idea that people were leaving this country, that had come here seeking refuge, and given their undocumented status and having children, the possibility of being separated from children. We actually wrote this before the major locking of kids in cages and such. So it escalated in kind of a timely fashion with the making of this film. It's become, I think, more of a story, more of an issue since. But yeah, I was listening to NPR one day, and they said, oh yeah, there's a couple hundred people a day crossing in these little Vermont roads and upstate New York and Michigan, and it's just all the way across the country. And it turns out it's quite a few. I contacted the Canadian border folks, and they confirmed that it was, they basically have Border Patrol people just waiting at all of those little roads for this daily influx of people that are fleeing this country and hoping that they can find refuge in Canada. And it's really struck me as a story that needed to be told in some format.
Right, and we've of course heard about this here in Vermont because it happens a lot in Vermont. What I really loved about your film was just there wasn't a lot of dialogue. It was just the moments, the silences. It was beautifully shot. The acting the woman was incredible, just in her face. You could see 100 things going through her mind at the same time. What was the biggest challenge in shooting that film for you?
The timetable. The producer, Nadia Barbarossa, is working with us on a feature film, and I had shown her this short script for 4 Keys, and I said, this is an important story. At some point we need to do this. And she had another project in New York and flew up from Puerto Rico, and it was just like, oh, you're gonna be in New York in 2 weeks? Let's shoot the film. What do you think if we shoot this? And we pulled it together in 2 weeks and shot it in 2 days. And that was the biggest challenge, I think, was just everything. Like the police, that scene with the police cruiser, we had run out of time and didn't have a chance to actually shoot it the way it was supposed to. We paid that officer to be there, so we should have been able to shoot from the car. And there was instead it just, things fell apart. And yeah, like all filmmaking, you have to work with what you get.
So last question, and then we'll move on to the next film, but just for the filmmakers, where is this film, where are you showing it? Obviously you're showing it at film festivals. Are you how long have you been making films? Is this your first film, making a short film, and then interested in making feature films? Just a little bit about you.
Yeah, I've been writing screenplays for over 20 years and running other businesses, and had always, with the intention of making them myself, and it just took me a little while to get there. But yeah, this is my first film, and we have 2 feature films in development right now, and a couple of TV series we're working on.
Great.
Yeah.
I've been a photographer for about 28 years or so, and this is my first short, if you don't count the one that I did in art school. This one actually, had a very short pre-production time. It was about 1 week, and it was about 15 days after Harvey even was outed, and it was actually before Me Too. So, it was November 15th or 20th.
Has the Me Too movement seen this thing and grabbed onto it? Has it gotten out there? Are you putting it on YouTube and sort of using it as part of it?
I'm trying.
Yeah?
I'm trying.
And how'd you find this guy? Did you do a huge casting call?
It was not a huge casting call, but he was the only person that I wanted once I saw his. He did this sort of thing on like an iPhone and sent it over through the casting agent.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. Because he just ripped. And I'm like, without even seeing the script.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, both really beautiful films, important films, and I often say, I'm a feature film documentarian, but I often say that short films are sometimes harder than long films because you have to tell a story in a shorter period of time. And you both did an incredible job, beautiful acting, and thank you so much for being here in the